June 13, 2025, 2:37 a.m. Tehran. The city shook, sirens wailed, precision missiles rained down on Iran's most secure military compounds and nuclear research centers. Operation Narnia, as it would later be known, was Israel's deadliest targeted airstrike in years, and among the most prominent casualties was Fereydoon Abbasi Divani, nuclear physicist, parliamentarian, Revolutionary Guard member, and one of Iran's most enigmatic and controversial scientists. His death wasn't random. Abbasi had survived one assassination attempt before, back in 2010, an attack so precise it mirrored a scene from a spy thriller. Magnetic bombs slapped to a moving car, timed to explode seconds later. His colleague died that day. He survived, but not this time, because Fereydoon Abbasi had become too important, too dangerous. He wasn't just a scientist. He was the intellectual architect of Iran's nuclear resistance, a man who, for decades, stood at the heart of a program that the world feared could lead to a bomb. To understand why Israel saw him as such a threat, we have to go back to the boy who became the mind behind the uranium. Fereydoon Abbasi was born on July 11, 1958, in Abadan, a strategic city in southwest Iran near the Persian Gulf. His early life coincided with significant national transformation, from Shah-led monarchy to Islamic Republic. The Iranian Revolution of 1979 radicalized many youth, and Abbasi was among them. He studied physics at Shahid Beheshti University in Tehran and later earned a PhD in nuclear physics. But even in academia, Abbasi wasn't a quiet researcher. He aligned closely with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, the ideological military wing of Iran's theocratic regime. As Iran fought Iraq through the brutal 1980s war, Abbasi wasn't just conducting research in classrooms. According to international intelligence sources, he was part of clandestine research units aimed at strengthening Iran's strategic deterrence. And from those war-forged years, he emerged as more than just a physicist. He became a man who believed Iran's sovereignty would forever be at risk until it held a deterrent too powerful to ignore: nuclear capability. November 29, 2010, Tehran. Abbasi was driving with his wife near Shahid Beheshti University when two assailants on motorcycles approached their car. One slapped a magnetic bomb onto his vehicle. Moments later, it exploded. He was injured but survived. His wife escaped with minor wounds, but a few kilometers away, another physicist, Majid Shahriari, wasn't so lucky. He was killed in a similar attack. These were coordinated assassinations, and Iranian intelligence immediately blamed Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency. While Israel neither confirmed nor denied involvement, international analysts agreed. These were surgical operations targeting men linked to Iran's suspected weapons development. That attack changed everything. Rather than be cowed, Abbasi was appointed head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, AEOI, just months later, in February 2011, by then-President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. It was a clear message: Iran would not back down. As the new AEOI chief, Abbasi became Iran's nuclear public face. Fluent in both science and ideology, he defended Iran's right to enrich uranium under the Non-Proliferation Treaty (NPT), while also dodging direct answers about suspected military dimensions. Under his leadership, Iran expanded its centrifuge installations, raised enrichment levels from 3.5% to 20%, and deepened ties with North Korea's nuclear industry, according to various Western intelligence agencies. But his most controversial moment came in 2012, during a candid interview where he admitted that Iran had deliberately misled the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, about the Fordow enrichment site near Qom. The site, built deep into a mountain, was unknown to inspectors for years. That admission triggered fury in Western capitals and reinforced suspicions that Iran was running dual programs, one for civilian energy and another for weapons. Abbasi didn't deny it outright. In fact, in private circles, he reportedly boasted, "If the order ever comes, I'll build what they ask me to build." This ominous quote would haunt him for the rest of his life. As his profile grew, so did the consequences. In December 2011, the European Union froze his assets. The US Treasury Department followed, placing him on the Specially Designated Nationals (SDN) list for WMD proliferation. Even the United Nations Security Council named him under Resolution 1747, restricting his international travel. But Abbasi wore the sanctions like a badge of honor. On state television, he accused the West of hypocrisy, punishing Iran while Israel refused to sign the NPT and held an unacknowledged nuclear arsenal. To his supporters, he was a scientific patriot, the man standing firm against Western neocolonialism. To his enemies, he was a smiling villain, hiding behind peaceful language while helping Iran inch closer to the bomb. As his profile grew, so did the consequences. After stepping down from AEOI in 2013, Abbasi remained deeply involved in the nuclear ecosystem. He transitioned to politics and was elected in 2020 to Iran's Islamic Consultative Assembly parliament, representing Khazarun and Kuchanar. His tenure was marked by hawkish rhetoric. He opposed the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, the nuclear deal brokered by Iran and world powers, and supported uranium enrichment beyond 60%. He also became a member of the Energy and National Security Commissions, giving him access to Iran's most guarded secrets. Intelligence agencies warned that his continued influence could be instrumental in reconstituting any halted weapons program. On June 13, 2025, Israeli F-35 jets, possibly aided by drones and cyber disruption tools, struck Iranian military and nuclear installations across multiple cities. The assault was swift, brutal, and targeted. The IRGC's Imam Hossein University, Parchin Complex, and Fordo Enrichment Facility were among the hit locations. But the biggest loss was human. At least 11 nuclear scientists and engineers, including Fereydoon Abbasi, were killed. Iranian media called it an act of war. The regime vowed revenge, but international observers saw it as part of a shadow war that had been ongoing for nearly 20 years, a silent conflict where scientists were assassinated, facilities were sabotaged, and cyber weapons like Stuxnet had already crippled Iran's centrifuges. This time, Israel didn't hide behind ambiguity. An Israeli military source reportedly told a Western journalist, "This wasn't about symbols, this was about capacity." Abbasi was capacity. Abbasi's funeral was a state event. His coffin, draped in Iran's flag, was carried by uniformed IRGC soldiers. He was buried near other nuclear martyrs like Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, another key figure killed in a 2020 drone assassination, also widely attributed to Israel. Within Iran, he became a symbol of resilience and victimhood. His name was added to school textbooks and national science competitions. But internationally, his death marked a turning point. Analysts warned that the loss of high-caliber figures like Abbasi would severely hinder Iran's nuclear expertise. A scientist can't be replaced overnight, especially one with decades of classified experience. Fereydoon Abbasi Davani lived at the crossroads of science and secrecy. To some, he was a defender of national pride, a brilliant mind who believed in Iran's right to develop nuclear energy. To others, he was a quiet engineer of chaos, a man whose research in neutron initiators and uranium enrichment brought the world closer to a nuclear confrontation. His life reads like a John le Carré novel. Underground labs, assassination plots, state propaganda, and global diplomacy on a razor's edge. He may be gone, but the program he helped build and the questions it raises remain. And in a world where the line between civilian science and military ambition blurs too easily, the legacy of Fereydoon Abbasi is both a warning and a prophecy.